So guys, tune into the show. Don't miss it because it's going to be an amazing show. You are going to be touched. You're going to be amazed. You're going to be excited. It's Thursday, 11 o'clock on a Thursday. The Message Talk Show with Alex Gordon. Yes, don't miss it. So guys, tune into the show. Don't miss it because it's going to be an amazing show. You are going to be touched. You're going to be amazed. You're going to be excited. It's Thursday, 11 o'clock on a Thursday. The Message Talk Show with Alex Gordon. Yes, don't miss it. So good morning. Good morning. It's that morning again. It's that morning again. The morning when you have to wake out of bed on time, get up to tune into the Message Talk Show. I'm telling you to call your friends. I'm telling you to get a glass of water. I'm telling you, well, I'm not quite telling you. I'm advising you that it would be best if you close some of the browsers on your phone, on your laptop, on your desktop. Wherever you are, wherever you're tuning in from, it could be the States, it could be Australia, it could be the Caribbean, it could be as far as London. But you're tuning into the Message Talk Show with host Alex Gordon from Master Your Message, Alex Gordon, the creator of the Message Talk Show. Every time I stand to speak, I have to pay homage to a generation of people who did so much for us. And it's only when we look back, we realize the impact that generation had in their simplicity of state, I would call it. The Windrush generation who came, they worked hard, they became part of the system, and they never complained. They never complained, and they asked for nothing, and they worked for 20 to 30, 40 years with a dream of returning to the Caribbean. Some returned to the Caribbean, some didn't. Some went and came back because the dream didn't live up to all they wanted it to be. But they came and they worked and they contributed. And now they're dying out. They're leaving us. The last 16 months, we've had some tragic stories in our community. Tragic, and we have to pay homage to them. But you know what? I'm here because of them. I'm here because of that generation. You are here because of that generation. And we're all here to make a contribution to the society in which we live. We're all here to make a contribution and make it a better society, make it a better place to live. You know what? We don't know how long we have left on this earth. We don't know how long we got here. But for the short period of time we got here, we got to do something, man. You can't just sit where you are and wait for things to happen. You have to make things happen. And that's why today I've got a guest on the show who is an amazing lady. Tremendous work they're doing up in the Midlands. And wow, when I first met the other half of this lady, I was just blown away. And then when I looked on LinkedIn and I saw the other half of the other half, I thought, wow, amazing. And you know what? When I made contact, the other half said, yes, you must interview this lady. She is tremendous. Today I have on the Message Talk Show, Sabrina Dennis. Sabrina, good morning, and how are you?
Good morning. I'm fantastic. Thank you. I'm brilliant. How are you?
Well, you know what? I'm a bit tired at the moment. I was at a conference yesterday to 2 a.m. this morning, and I was just blown away with this conference. After the conference, I was just sitting, mulling over my notes, mulling over what I've gleaned. But that's for the next show. I'm not going to go into that. That's for the next show. So if you want to find out what I was up to last night, you're going to have to tune into the next show. But Sabrina, how, man, when I did the pre-interview with you, and I walked away from that interview, and I thought, this is amazing. There's amazing stories here. There are some things happening in our country that we know nothing about. There are some things happening in our local communities that we haven't put our fingers in, but they're moving and shaking our community for the best and for the better. And that's what we want to get across on the Message Talk Show. We want to bring to you people who are causing change, people who are causing things to happen, people who are not taking no for an answer. Is that right, Sabrina?
Absolutely. Definitely.
Why is it wrong not to accept just the status quo, Sabrina? Why is it wrong to just accept what's going on sometimes?
I think we've done that for far too long. We as a people, we've sat back and we've watched things happen, and we've probably been afraid to walk in our purpose and our gifting. But the time is now. The time is, people are waiting. I say this all the time. People are waiting for us, for me, for you to do the things that need to be done to access and to show young people or adults or whoever it is, there's a different way. And that means sometimes you have to challenge the norm. You have to challenge the status quo.
Sabrina, you're in already. Sabrina says people are waiting. People are waiting in the queue for you to step up to who you are and what you've come to do. And your contribution, they're waiting because the chain reaction is so massive. That's amazing. But Sabrina, you're not just a CEO. You're not just a coordinator or mentor or coach. So many things all wrapped up in one bundle, Sabrina. So I'm going to ask you a straight question, Sabrina, and you are going to just give you 2 minutes to just go through this with me. So Sabrina, who do you serve? Who are you? Who do you serve? And what got you here?
Okay. I am Sabrina Dennis. I am a mother, wife, CEO, director, business owner, many things, sister, brother, family friend, whoever. I'm a lot of things to a lot of people. But to me, I'm just Sabrina. I'm Sabrina Dennis. I serve Jesus Christ. That's who I serve. And what got me here on this platform today, a LinkedIn message. But prior to that, I think what got me here was just literally finding what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. So finding my purpose. And I really, really believe that when you found your purpose, it's the happiest place to be. So for me, it was running away from a million other roles, thinking about teaching, ran away from that, ran away from just being mummy at home, didn't want to do that for too long, even though I am a mum and I'm a great mum, but I know that I have so much more to give. And I think what really and truly helps me to stay here is the fact that I know that there is so much opportunity out there for young people that they don't necessarily have access to. So it's my job to give them the access, to show them different ways, a different way, a new life. So that's it. I think I did that in less than 2 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to the Message Talk Show. Today we have Sabrina Dennis in the house talking to us today about building powerful strategic partnerships. Just welcoming wherever you are, wherever you're broadcasting from. And Sabrina said she serves Jesus Christ, yes? Who is helping her to serve some other people. So her strength comes from somewhere. But who are you serving on earth, Sabrina?
On earth, I'm serving, lots of different people. Majority of the people I work with are age 11, all the way up to 25. Young Black people from different backgrounds, different walks of life. Some of them are very vulnerable. Some of them are aspiring and doing great things. I also work alongside professionals. So I work with the youth justice. I work with violence reduction partners. I work with corporate groups to help educate them and show them how to effectively engage with young Black people. So I work with a diverse group of people all the time, but it's a lot of fun.
You know, I find this really exciting because the Windrush generation would have not ever thought that we need an organization to show people how to engage with our community. They would have just gone. They would have just smacked you and said, just do that, just do this, just do that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But we have proven that for some time now, that if we don't stand up and show people and engage people in a certain way, then we will not get their cooperation. Is that true?
That's right. And I think it's understanding cultural difference. And, you know, we live in the United Kingdom. I live in England, and things have always been done a certain way for such a very long time. But that means that there's other sections of the society that are not impacted and are not engaged at all.
Okay, before you go there about the other sections of society, let's jump back on purpose, because you mentioned a point about finding your purpose. And this is what I want to tap in today, because you got here somehow doing all the things that you do. And from the things that you mentioned, already I'm thinking, man, you're some superwoman already, you're some superwoman already, But you talked about finding purpose. What does that look like, and what is that?
So it's the things, for me, purpose looks like the things that bother you, that really provoke you, that you think, gosh, I could do something about that. Or we always say they need to do that differently. They need to, I don't know, it could be the need to create spaces for young people that actually are benefiting for young people, rather than adults creating spaces that young people, they think young people would benefit from. It's the little things that kind of stir up a fire within you. And for me, that was looking at our family, our young people, just young people from the Black community that just always seem to be disproportionately represented in things. So youth justice, for instance, or school exclusions, always being the ones that are picked on or called out. And I'm like, there's got to be something different. We've got to do things differently. We've got to show our young people another way and raise the level of aspiration and expose them to things that really, really are going to change their lives. And I can say that because that's what we've been doing, and I know the difference it makes. So in our charity, First Class Foundation, connecting young people to opportunities changes their outcome for the long term, connecting them to jobs, apprenticeships, to safe spaces, whether it be forum spaces, whether it just be a youth club or youth provision, changes their outcome. It diverts them from things that can be negative. It can divert them from exploitation, gang violence, all that kind of stuff. And it can show them that there are pathways to create greatness, but we have to be able to expose them. We have to give access. And that for me is that's where I get excited the most, like being able to show people a different way, being able to give them the access to new and exciting provisions. That's where my purpose lies. And it's one of the things that has always frustrated me, that wasn't always the case.
Wow. So you mentioned there the pathway to greatness. I'm thinking, oh my God, I better make a note of this one, mate, because hey, this is powerful stuff. So what was your pathway to greatness? What was your pathway to just to bring you into the arena in which you operate now?
Yeah, so my pathway, oh my goodness, it wasn't as straightforward as an organization being there for me to kind of find a route. But we've always worked in the youth space, youth community space. And for me, I wasn't always involved in First Class. At the very beginning stages, and we're talking 16 years ago, I was very much mom, looking after our daughter. And my husband, who I know you interviewed previously, he wanted to do this thing where he'd create these safe spaces for young people. I didn't want to have nothing to do with it. I was going to pursue a different professional path. Youth work's not for me. I don't want to do that. But it didn't quite work out the way he wanted it to. So he did sort of First Class for about 7 to 8 years of doing it with friends, but not really knowing systems and processes. And of course, a few years later, we changed governments. We started in 2005, 2010, changed government, and all funding and all that kind of stuff that we had access to disappeared literally overnight. And that's where I kind of was asking all the questions that everybody hates answering, like, well, what happened? Where's the money? Where's the systems? Where's the processes? I really annoyed him at that point. But that's when he said to me, well, I want to do this again, but you have to be involved. And I said, no, youth work is not for me. I'm not interested in that. I'm going to be project manager for somebody else. I'm going to do that.
Wow.
But yeah, that's how it started.
He has something called he has the power of persuasion then, because if you said no, and I'm serious when you probably said, no, I'm not doing it, I'm going somewhere else. But for some reason, you stepped in.
Yeah, I did.
You mentioned systems, and why do you think systems are so important in running the organization?
Systems are everything. Systems and processes are vital. There are 3 key systems that every organization should have, and that's a finance one, customer relationship kind of system, and a project management system. And they didn't have any of those at the time. Systems enable you to see the gaps. They enable you to remove yourself from the business. So, if you're a small enterprise, a small organization, and you are HR and you are legal and you are sales and you are marketing, how do you expect to grow and remain sustainable? Because you can't do everything all the time. So what I developed and how we are where we are today is the systems and processes, and worked really, really hard to kind of systemize everything. So down to finances, we look at our finances on a weekly basis, but there's a process for that. There's an agenda, there's meetings, there's things that we have to do every week. For projects and for any staff member that's getting inducted into the organization, they get sort of taken on a whistle-stop tour through all of the projects and how everything works. But you see, when you don't have that in place, or if it just relies on one person, then when that one person's removed, what happens to the organization? It shuts down. So it is vital. It's vitally important.
You've made yourself redundant already then, because if you've got a system in place for everything, you can virtually walk away and it automates itself and runs without you.
It should, well, not everything can run without, not necessarily me, but other members of the team. But yeah, you still need to get to that point where it's not reliant on you, because we've lived in a pandemic. People have had COVID. If our organization was reliant on me doing everything, then we would have stopped.
Wow. So the first step that happened for you guys was the partnership between yourselves to lift this organization to another level. So you came in, put the systems in place, took it back to basics and said, right, we're ready to grow. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, from the last time that I did the interview, and I noticed the team around you, how did you recruit that team?
So it's interesting because some of our team members, or a majority of, I'd say 80% of our team members, started off as volunteers. And they came in as people that just wanted to help. You know, if we were doing an event, oh, I'm going to help you with the event. I'm going to come and I'm just going to give my time for the day and stuff like that. And as we've grown and as we've carried on, they've stuck with us. So we kind of created a blueprint. And this kind of started way back in the beginning in 2010, when we used to have our First Class Fridays and young people would come, gather, we'd eat food, we'd have fun, we'd strategize and plan events, and they'd keep coming every week. And then before you know it, there's a paid opportunity to do the same thing you're volunteering for. Do you want to try and do it for a paid opportunity? And that's how it grew. So a lot of our team members started off working with us, and one of our lead practitioners started off with us when she was 15 as a volunteer. Wow. She's 29 today, and she heads up one of our major programs that we have.
So that's amazing. So that means your workers truly understand the culture of what been building, and I'm fascinated by the fact that you invited them to help you plan events before they even was working for you. That's unheard of.
We believe in co-production. I know it's a new thing that people talk about now, but we've been doing it from the get-go. So
let me write this one down.
Co-production. You can't. We really believe that, especially in the youth space. You know, I think it happens all the time where adults create things for young people without actually asking young people what they want. Whereas we do the things the other way around. We say to young people, right, we know we've got to do an event. What do you want the event to be like? What should be there? And they will co-produce and we'll speak into what they want to see happen. And where feasible, we'll make it happen for them. So they're part of it. And we're very kind of, when we do onboard new staff members, we have a whole onboarding program, and one of those things is our values as an organization. So our values are love, passion, time, integrity, and we really do spend a lot of time embedding that into everything that we do, because we're a very fluid organization. Things change all the time. New products come online, things finish, things start, new people come, volunteers start, volunteers leave. We're very, very fluid, but if we can have a core set of values that we work to all the time, it helps to keep things together. So one of the things feedback that I get from the recruitment and onboarding is that people feel very much a part of the team within the first week of working with us. Wow. And that's really, really important.
The first week, they feel part of the team.
Yeah.
It's
crucial.
You've created that blueprint that helps to map people in. So virtually they're stakeholders before they get into the organization.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
crucial.
they're feeling like they have a stake already.
Yeah.
In the outcome of what you're building.
Yeah. It's absolutely vital. I cannot, because of the type of work we do and the types of young people we work with, you really need to feel part of the team. You've got to feel part of the family.
Okay. So you made that point about the type of young people you work with. The type of young people you work with, are these the ones who are the studious, hardworking, gone to university type, heads in the book every week, and just does what mommy says, or daddy says?
On the odd occasion. On the odd occasion. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, we do have that cohort. Yeah, they do. We do have that. But the majority of young people that we're tasked to work with are the complete opposite of that. They are the ones that are entrenched in negative lifestyles, who are seeking help and support, but don't necessarily know where to get it from, and end up in things that they shouldn't be getting involved with. So we do work with quite a lot of vulnerable young people.
But isn't it sometimes they're asking the questions that nobody really wants to answer? they're asking the questions that their parents can't answer, isn't it? Doesn't it? That's where it
Definitely.
starts sometimes.
Definitely. And sometimes they're trying to solve a problem that their parents can't solve, which I know sounds crazy, but sometimes young people do things not because they're born bad or they want to be the next bad man. That's not what it is. Sometimes there is an economical advantage to do some of the things that they do because they might want stuff, their parents haven't got the money for it, so they find an alternative way of going about it. For some of them, it is literally boredom. There is nothing to do.
Wow.
And when there are people that are showing a lifestyle that looks fun, they glamorize it. It looks fun. It looks exciting. You know, it looks like, oh yeah, I could do something like that because it's glamorous.
Man, sold you a dream.
You know. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Sold you a dream that's not necessarily good. The outcome's not good, but it looks good from where you are. Wow. So that's the internal partnerships that you developed, going from volunteers to pull them inside the organization, learning the culture, learning the values, pushing them together, making it happen with the co-CEO. So let's go outside the organization now. So you've built the platform, you've built the framework for running the organization. What is it like working with organizations out there you've got some big guys, small guys, little guys, all sorts of people you work with? What is it like?
Do you know what? It's really interesting. Our partnerships, and they are some massive partnerships with NHS trusts, and then you've got smaller grassroots organizations. But I think for me, it comes from our value set. So integrity, and we're never ever going to compromise on our values as an organization. You know, some organizations have got a real need to engage with the young people that we engage with, and a lot of the time we spend more time helping them to think differently about how they work and what they do, because they're just not equipped. And that's not a negative always. That's an opportunity for us to help support and grow, and also support them as an organization as well. It can be challenging sometimes, you know, being honest, it can be difficult because we're small. You know, we be classed as a micro organization. We haven't got like hundreds of staff members. You know, we might have an office space, but there isn't a lot of us. But that doesn't mean that the work that we do isn't powerful in the city. And I think sometimes getting our why and how we do things across can be a challenge. But once we've done that, it's easy, you know, and we value those partnerships very much so.
As in my church days, you know, you're being humble here, mate. You're being humble here. You're the profile I see when I see you guys in LinkedIn. You don't look like some small organization.
Really?
From the things that you're involved in and from the things that you're getting done, you look like a big organization. You look like, you know, you're out there. You're out there in the thick of things, trying to make things happen, but you're visible. And not a lot of organizations are able to do that. You're visible. Why do you think it's so important to be so visible in your community?
For us, because we're community-based, we're grassroots, and the way you communicate with our community is going to be different, isn't it? You can't communicate with them on a corporate level through your charity fancy reports and all of that stuff. We need to be out there. We need to be seen. But to be honest, if I'm honest, people have said to us, you guys are way too professional sometimes for the community that we even serve, you know. So it is like striking.
You're way too professional for the community that you
really
serve.
Professional.
Man, that's feisty, man. What are you talking about? Too professional.
Too professional. We need to get a bit more gritty sometimes, but I think that's just the way it's going to be. You know, we have to be visible. We and I say we're small in the sense that, okay, we're a charity, registered charity, and if you put us next to Children's Society, we don't exist because we're a small organization. So that's what I say when I say we're small. But yeah, in terms of the work that we do, the impact that we have and the reach that we have, we're doing amazing things, and I'm super proud of that.
Children's Society's probably got a 30-year run on you. Yeah.
This is what I mean. Yeah. And they've got a great head start, and you've got, you know, there's other massive organizations, and that's the challenge for a charity like ours, that, you know, we can do great things. We have the impact reports, we've got the accounts and stuff like that. But when it comes to sort of funding and acquiring resources, sometimes we are fighting. We're all fighting for the same part. Now, if you're in a part with Children's Society and other massive organizations, they're not the only ones, like you've got St. Giles Trust and whoever else, it's going to be harder for us because we are smaller and we're just starting out. That's just the truth.
Yeah, but that's true. But something you mentioned earlier about purpose, right?
Mm,
And you mentioned about the culture of the organization that you're building and that uniqueness about being visible.
yeah.
There's no competition, really, is there?
There's always competition, but competition's good. It's healthy. I would be ignorant if I thought that our values and culture alone, yes, it makes us stand out and it makes us different, but we're still going to be competing. And that means we always have to have the edge. We do need to be visible. We do need to be sharing and shouting loud from the rooftops the amazing things that we've done, because that's what's going to get us noticed. So it isn't even, for me, any kind of competition is good competition, but I don't see it as that. I just see it as an opportunity to partner as well. Because in the world that we live in today, you know, no man's an island. You can't stand on your own. We've got to work together. And also the issues that are out there for young people, no one organization can tackle alone. It's not possible.
Hey, let me jump in there, guys. I don't know where you're joining us from. This is the Message Talk Show with Alex Gordon with Sabrina Dennis. Sabrina says, no man is an island. You can't do it all on your own. You've got to partner. You've got to work. You've got to join up. You've got to collaborate. You've got to make things happen together. And therefore, this reduces the level of competition that we face, because we are able to put our minds together, put our hearts together, and tackle the same issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you said you're small. You said the Children's Society are way ahead of you. So 14 years. So what do the next 10 years look like?
The next 10 years for First Class Foundation. Oh, well, domination. I say it all the time, but the aim is growth, is real growth and sustainability. It's to make what started off as projects for some of our things as lifelong services. And it's building on the partnerships that we've already established with the great ones that we're working with already. It's a really exciting time. I think, you know, during the pandemic, we grew as an organization where others were closing.
You grew during the pandemic.
Yeah, we did. We recruited. That was weird, recruiting online, doing that in a non-contact kind of way. Yeah, we recruited. We started new things in the pandemic.
Wow.
The beautiful thing about being small as well is there's less red tape, and we're nimble enough to kind of adapt. So we were able to adapt and go do everything online, and actually did way more online than we probably would have ever done before. So, you know, it's about looking at this new normal for us. I think the hybrid working, online, face-to-face, you know, be super duper flexible. We were talking about flexibility earlier in the team and thinking about how we work. We're unorthodox in our hours anyway. We're not 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. We're every day, any time that suits the person that we've got to engage. So being flexible is just the way forward for us. But yeah, growth, sustainability is the plan for the next 10.
Wow. Growth and sustainability is the plan for the next 10 years. My God. So that would take you to 24 years. I imagine by that time, you'll be giving Children's Society some massive competition with the reach and the size in which you're growing. Am I correct?
Hopefully, or hopefully we're doing stuff together and we're not subcontracted, but hopefully we're doing stuff in partnership. Hopefully we're seen as equals and we've got an equal footing and we've got equal access. I think that's where we are. I think that's what I'd love to see. One of my big ambitions is to do more partnership work with other organizations that are doing fantastic things, but are not necessarily reaching the cohort that we work with. That for me would be amazing.
Hey guys, you hear that? You wherever you are today, how big your organization is, Sabrina says she wants to partner and help you. Yes, she wants to partner and help you too, to get out there into the marketplace. She's not just keeping it to herself. She wants to help you. So, hey, you need to make contact with, you know what? The name First Class Foundation, it just rolls off my tongue. First Class Foundation. Now, who are you? I'm First Class Foundation. Hi, this is First Class Foundation. Right, where did that name come from?
First Class Foundation is like the final version of First Class. We started as First Class Youth Network, and that was great, but it was kind of limiting. And then we were like, you know what? First Class Legacy. Yeah, great. We're going to leave a legacy, but we need to build a foundation first. So when we registered the charity, we were like, right, we're going to create a First Class Foundation to leave a First Class legacy. That's what it's about.
Wow. You're going to create a first-class foundation to leave a first-class legacy. It's just
Yeah.
rolls, man. I like the thinking there. I like the logic. And you seem to have a very much big heart-centeredness, but also very much logical thinking in the middle of all of this. That's not easy to maintain both sides.
No, no. I regularly, I think all of the projects that we've ever started came from my heart. But then again, making it sustainable and making it last, that's where you got to think, and that's where my logic comes in. And then I have to sort of think about what am I hearing? What am I supposed to do? And what's the outcome? What's this for? What's the purpose of all of this for? So, for instance, one of our programs called Kitchen Table Talks is a very simple program. We literally talk to parents who are going through various different challenges around a table with some food. We do that on a monthly or weekly basis, depending on where we are and what we're doing. It's a very simple idea. It has big heart attached to it.
Kitchen Table Talks, that sounds massive.
Kitchen Table Talks, it is massive. It's a regional program now. It started off as a tiny one workshop idea that I had that was just for me, really, because I thought I want to kind of speak to parents and find out how they're feeling about social media and their kids. This is years ago. And then fast forward to where we are today, and we're doing this same model of getting parents together with who've got young people in the youth justice system, just to get them their experiences, but also to offload the experience in a safe space with people who are going through similar things to themselves. It's a peer-to-peer support network, and literally we talk and eat cake or waffles or ice cream or whatever. But
you know what? You could pitch it as a TV program, Kitchen Table Talks. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome to Kitchen Table Talks with Sabrina Dennis from First Class Foundation. Hey, that rings off the tongue. Yeah, that rings off the tongue.
It does.
With people ringing in and discussing, having the same conversation that you have around a table, but on a bigger arena. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. That is amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So, Sabrina, there's a couple of questions that have come in, and I need to ask you this one,
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, what was the struggle like for you as a female entrepreneur now? This is your female entrepreneurship, your power.
My power.
Yeah, well, the power has to come from somewhere.
Female first. Female, okay. Yeah? Black female entrepreneur. Different thing. So it's been interesting. I think a lot of the stuff that I've had is internal stuff, an internal personal struggle. It's been like, can I do this? Imposter syndrome. A lot of the time, I've pulled off some amazing things and I've done some amazing things, but then I think, oh my God, especially if I'm introduced, sometimes I always think, is that me they're talking about? Because to me, I'm just Sabrina who's doing these things, and I don't necessarily seem as massive because I know I've got big ambitions and big dreams. So sometimes the things that I do, I don't appreciate the magnitude of the impact that they're having until I hear it back from the people that have experienced it. But I think in the space of just walking into the business space, walking into the charity space, for me has just been, it's been really interesting to see what people think I know, and to listen to them kind of talk about what they think they know about me. That's been interesting.
What they think they know about you.
Think they know about me has been interesting. And also my challenge as well, and again, it was more of a personal challenge, I suppose, but it did kind of spill into the workspace, was just the fact that we run this thing as a husband and wife team, but it started off as just my husband, Nathan, doing it. So everybody knows him. Everybody knows what he does. Everybody knows all about him. And then here comes Sabrina, and actually putting my own stamp on stuff was a slight challenge.
So you were always walking in his shadow?
Initially, not now.
So it was, oh, that's Sabrina. Oh, that's Nathan's wife. Yeah. So you didn't get your own title. You just, oh, that's Nathan's wife.
That's
and then
Nathan's
that was it.
Wife.
They'd walk past you to go to Nathan.
Yeah. And actually Nathan would direct them back to me because he doesn't know the answer to the question.
Nathan would direct them back to you to say, hey, go speak to Sabrina. That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
So is there anything you would have done differently?
No. On the journey, no. I think if I was to do Not differently, no, because the mechanisms that I used at the time and the way I got through helped service the time and the period that we were in. I think it's just knowing and having that self-confidence that actually I can do this. I'm CEO of a charity. I'm a co-owner of another business. I know what I'm talking about. And I need to have the ability and the self-belief, but you only get that from yourself. No one's going to be able to tell you as many times as you need to hear it that you can do it. You have to tell yourself that you can do it and believe it. And I think that for me would be the only thing I would do, would have done differently. Yeah, wow. Maybe. I think the journey itself's the journey, and I'm grateful for it.
Wow. So in the previous question we talked about Black female, and I said about power, and you said Black female first. So the power comes from your self-belief.
Yeah. My self-belief, my faith. Spend a lot of time in prayer and asking for direction. I think it's important. My faith, our faith.
Praying for a miracle, or praying for something to happen, or
praying for wisdom in everything. Wisdom, because God's given us the gift to be able to do the things that we do. I firmly believe that. There's no way I would be here if it wasn't for the gifts that I have. I know that. But I think at the same time, your gift will make room for you, but you just need to have wisdom in how you use the gift in the first place.
Yes, it's like giving you a hammer, isn't it? Yes, take the hammer.
Yeah. And what are you going to do with it? You got to have wisdom.
But wisdom, I think biblically, I mean, Solomon was one of the well, he prayed for wisdom, didn't he?
Yeah.
And after praying for wisdom, he became one of the richest men in the Bible.
Yeah.
And so wisdom has a way of creating opportunity, but allowing you to see opportunity. I think that's so important, that you said you grew through lockdown. Yeah. You said you recruited online. That means throughout this whole time, you were just seeing opportunities around you.
All the time. Every time there's something happening, it's an opportunity. And I know that people, even when we talk about, you mentioned earlier about being in competition, and I said, I see it as a chance to work together. As an opportunity to work with some great organizations, regardless of whether it's competitive or not, it's an opportunity. And that's how I believe we should look at it. Because anything amazing could happen out of that. Okay, it could absolutely go wrong. It could absolutely flop. There's lots of risks that we can take, but it's an opportunity just to have a look and see what could happen.
So you guys just jump up in the morning and go, oh my God, we should do this. We should do this. Oh my God.
That happens a lot.
We should do this. Or is it ran an executive boardroom where you've had several hours of discussion and we need to strategize the future? And yes, let's tick this box. Is it run a boardroom, or is it just jumping out and say, wow?
Well, we do have both. There are lots of opportunities. And one of the things that I love about the team is that we've got in our office, right, we've got 3 big pieces of flip chart paper stuck on the wall. One of them is what's one big problem. So there's a problem that we think we've got as an organization, how we're going to solve it. There's an opportunity in that. There's another thing is ideas. So what do people want to do? And we've got like team away days. We've got like events, conferences, different things like that. And there's like a whole map of where we're going to go and who we're going to see and what we're going to do on the other one. So yeah, a lot of the time, ideas are always bubbling over. I think we all spend time just sitting out and thinking. We all do things differently in the office as well. So everybody's got a different role, but people tend to go for walks a lot and come back from the walk with a whole download of what they need to do next. I know I do it. I was in the car wash the other day and I had a whole new idea for something. It's just like, it happens all the time.
People disappear from the office, right? They disappear from the office.
On their break.
They've gone for a walk.
Yeah.
And they come back
back with an idea.
Hey, I've got an idea.
Yeah. It happens all the time.
I was going to ask you this, where does all the big ideas come from? Does it just come from yourselves, or is it the team at large is contributing to this big pool of ideas?
The team, and this is what I mean about co-production. It can't grow with just me one. Like, I have an idea for lots of things, but then I'm not doing everything in the office. Definitely I'm doing everything in the organization, but there's team like outreach workers, outreach practitioners or detached youth workers that have got ideas for stuff. All right, I'll give you a really solid example. We had a summer program that ran across the month of August, and we had got successful to do this project of just doing like a summer activities program for young people. Now we had 14 detached youth workers that were gonna work on this program. So we said the time of the program is going to be from 10 till 2. What you do in that time is completely up to you. And they, together as a team, devised a whole 4-week long program of activities for young people that they ran by us. We get signed off. They do the risk assessments.
Wow.
They look at the area. They're working with the young people. So they're going to know what's going to work with the young people they're working with. It can't be coming from me. I'm not delivering on the project, but I want them to take the lead on it. And that's how you develop young leaders. Great leaders have got ideas. You just got to allow them the space to use it.
Wow. Let me just take you back to a point that you just made. And you said in the boardroom, there's a room in your offices whereby you've got the flip charts around.
Yeah.
With the thoughts and the ideas on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So people come in and they can contribute, or they see what's happening. They see where you're going. This is amazing. I mean, this is great when you're small, but how do is that something you can maintain as you grow, to just keep
Absolutely.
that out there on the wall so
Absolutely.
people see the future, they can contribute to the future, they can help, they see themselves as creating part of that future because they have the opportunity to.
Yeah, it started off as us doing a vision day, a vision 2021 it was called, and we're in 2021 now, and this was 3 years ago. And I started off with one of our trustees just doing this vision board idea, and one of the things I said I wanted was to move into an office, and I wanted this, and I wanted the colors, and we devised up this vision, and I shared the vision. We have a vision day, a vision like away day type thing with everybody in the organization once a year. Shared the vision. They then contributed to it and said, this is what we want to see happen on top of your vision. And here we are in 2021, and majority of that's done.
Woo!
So as an organization,
the boxes.
Yeah, and that's how you grow. You have to make space for it. A lot of the time we spend time delivering projects and just doing the work, but don't actually work on the organization. So how you're not going to grow, because you're going to just be busy delivering, but for us, we have to have that time. So we're planning another one. It's going to be an away weekend this time round, where we do some shadowing of another organization.
Okay, let me book my seat now. Let me book my seat now to come to the away weekend, because that sounds fantastic and that's going to be awesome. So let me book my seat from now. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now,
it's something we do.
I figured you've answered this question, but let me throw it to you all the same. Who are you mentoring now?
Who am I not mentoring? Okay. So, we as a couple, myself and my husband, we tend to do a lot of mentoring for relationships, one thing, but also young people who are starting out in business. We not long ago finished a program where we supported 20 organizations in their recovery through COVID. So as I said, we were really, really fortunate that we kind of sustained and grew during lockdown, but for a lot of organizations, especially small startups, it completely decimated their organizations. So we were able to mentor them and support them with the support of Birmingham Voluntary Services. They were able to pitch for some resources, and we did a program with them where they were able to learn about processes, all the things you've tried to talk to me about, systems, processes, finances. So we've done that
all the elements.
this year. All the elements. We still have what we've tried to do, because it's really difficult. For me, I've got a passion to do some more female leaders stuff. There's a lot of female leaders that I've been working with in the last sort of 18 months that are just absolutely wiped out, just because they've felt unsupported in the role. They've had to take on more.
What do you mean they felt unsupported?
They haven't got necessarily, some of them have, but they haven't all got someone out to go to kind of offload and have a safe space to talk. So I'm kind of thinking around, I've got an idea for it.
That's your coaching program, Sabrina. That's your coaching program. Giving them X amount of access for X amount of time. And hey, you got to pay this kind of fee, man, because nothing is cheap. Nothing is free,
Nothing's free, but it's also time. Yeah, it's time. And I'm cautious with it, because I don't want to over promise and under deliver. So I'm cautious with it, but it's something I'm passionate about, definitely.
Wow, that's amazing. So let's wrap this up now, because there is so much to talk. The time is disappearing, but you've got so much to give and so much to say. So I should just book in for part 2, that's what I should probably do, just straight away. But what would you say is the protocol for working and approaching bigger organizations than yourself to enter into strategic partnerships with them? What would you say is the protocol for doing that? So, imagine that we're talking to some smaller businesses out there who are trying to grow, trying to recover from the last 16 months. And what would you say is a protocol for doing that?
Before you even go and talk to anybody, what do you want? What is the outcome you are looking for? So, because you've got to remember that everyone's got a why, everyone's got something they want.
Now, Sabrina, speak slowly with this, right? Because this is fundamental. You're entering some stuff here that people just ignore sometimes. They just overlook it. Go on. I'm listening. I'm making notes.
Very excited about the prospect of working with, let's call it as it is, young Black business, especially in 2021, where we've had all the Black Lives Matter stuff and the murder of George Floyd. Everybody wants to be seen to be doing the right thing, but what do you want? Because they'll be very clear on what they want. What's your outcome? What do you want from that partnership? And how is it going to be meaningful? So I say meaningful. It doesn't have to be financial transaction. It could be that you want access to space, for instance. I know that's a big issue for some organizations. They want business space, office space, youth space, whatever it is. What do you want from that partnership? Before you even get into a conversation, be very clear on that, and be very clear on your why. Because when they say no, as many times as they do, and believe me, we've had our fair share of rejections, you have to remember what you're doing for. Why do you do what you do? And who's it going to serve? What do you want from this partnership? And how is it going to be meaningful? Not just for you, but also for them. What's in it for them? Why should they work with you? Who even are you? What do you have to offer? There are so many questions to ask. And I think it's you knowing, you getting that right first in your mind and your head and your business model. And also safeguarding your business model. So if you, offer a particular product or service and you've got a name for it, who does that name belong to? Who does this product and service belong to? Are you going to create a partnership agreement? There's so many, I could talk for days on this, because there's so many things that you need to be clear on. We've learned some real big lessons in the partnership that we have for one of our mental health projects, because it's such a long partnership, but there's so many things that you need to consider.
So let me put it this way then, right? So guys, if you want to learn the strategic partnership blueprint, give Sabrina Dennis a call on the number which will be appearing on the screen and an email address. Yes. And they'll be running a program. Called the Strategic Partnership Program, where you should learn all the elements of how to approach, how to develop, but first, how to assess yourself before you start approaching anybody else.
Yeah.
That is amazing, Sabrina. Wow. Sabrina, we've approached the end of the show, and I am blown away with the information, with what you have to share, Sabrina. You should be doing conferences around the country, but how? You're only one person. It's difficult just to do so many different things. But is there one thing that you'd like to say before you disappear? Is there a word? Is there a sentence? Sometimes when I ask my guests to give what they want to say, they then go on for another 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. But let's not do that today. What do you want to say? Is there a sentence or a word that you want to leave with a community out there who are where they are, trying to strive, trying to develop, trying to grow, trying to get somewhere? What do you have to say?
I would say this. I say this to our children every day before they get out of the car. Stay focused. You are born for greatness. That's all.
Well, let me write this one down. She says I say this to my kids every day before they get out of the car.
Stay focused. You're born for greatness.
Stay focused. You're born for greatness. Hey guys, ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends of the Message Talk Show, sponsors out there, stay focused. You're Sabrina,
Born
come on,
for
man.
greatness. Born for greatness.
You're born for greatness. You're born for greatness. And before we go, let me just jump down to here to our sponsor before I go.
You are listening to the Message Talk Show and Podcast. Do you believe you have something to share? Do you believe you have something to contribute? Do you have a story to tell the world, to share with your community? Gandhi said, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So join us on the Message Talk Show and Podcast with host Alex Gordon.
So if you want to get hold of Sabrina Dennis, there's her details on the screen, further information. The website, legacyconsultants.co.uk. And there is a First Class Foundation website address, firstclassnation.com. And there are the Instagram, the social media handles. Yes, don't forget those. We all have to be social media conscious these days. You know, that's how we develop our presence and our profile out there. And, Sabrina, it's been a great having you on the show today. It's been an amazing time talking to you, hearing the future, hearing how you've grown, hearing how you've developed with your husband, and hearing what you're trying to do for your community. It's amazing. And it takes me back to the point that I started with. And when I started the show, I said, thank you to the Windrush generation, the ones who came from the Caribbean, the ones who started this, who came, who worked, didn't ask for nothing, and just gave everything they've got and created a platform on which we today now stand, able to make our contribution, able to do the things that we want to do, able to articulate ourselves in a way that we can because of what they did for us. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for tuning into the Message Talk Show. And Sabrina, I thank you for coming on the show. And yes, watch out for part 2 because there has to. Yeah, but I promised your other half of part 2 first, so I've got to go do Nathan's part 2 first before I come back to Sabrina's part 2. But thank you for tuning into the show today, and I look forward to seeing you again on the Message Talk Show with host Alex Gordon. Miss the show. You got to be on this show.